body of Melodee Buzzard, the 9-year-old child who went missing from the Lompoc area in October of this year, has been found in a rural area outside of Canesville in Wayne County, Utah.
A devastating ending to an over 2-month search for 9-year-old Melodee Buzzard.
This morning at approximately 7:51 a.m., members of our Sheriff's Office and the FBI arrested her mother, Ashlee Buzzard, for her murder.
2 News has covered the case around the state. Today we'll hear from investigators, neighbors, witnesses, and Melodee's family. 2 News brings you the full timeline for Melodee's disappearance to the upcoming trial. This is The Search for Melodee Buzzard. My name is Samantha Hoffman, and I'm reporting in St. George. This is one of the many stops Ashlee Buzzard made on the 3-day cross-country road trip that ended without her 9-year-old daughter, Melodee. KUTV first started following the case on November 4th, about a month into Melodee's disappearance, after we learned about their stops in Utah.
Bizarre case, the search for a missing at-risk 9-year-old from California who had tracked through Utah.
Melodee Buzzard has not been heard from in a month after a trip with her mother. The case involves wigs, swapping out license plates, and a mom who refuses to talk to police.
Our Brian Wells been on the story today, joins us live in the studio. This is a strange one for sure, Brian.
Yeah, it is, Mark. And this map tracks that trip where Melodee Buzzard was last seen with her mother. Here in Utah, investigators believe they traveled through Panguitch right up over here, making their way all the way up to Green River, all the way to Nebraska. Now, Melodee was last seen on surveillance video on October 9th between the Utah and Colorado border up there.
This is going to take a boots on the ground search.
An urgent search for 9-year-old Melodee Buzzard is underway. Ann Emerson with Criminally Obsessed podcast has been following the case closely.
A 9-year-old wearing a wig with a hoodie over her, and a mom wearing an obvious wig, which you'll see in the pictures that they had on when they left the rental company. Something's going to trigger.
This map, laid out by investigators, shows the 5 stops made by a 2024 white Chevy Malibu around October 9th with Melodee and her mom, Ashlee. Police believe license plates were swapped out on the vehicle but changed back when the rental car was returned.
The school district had reported that she had not come in a while. They were concerned. And then the details started coming out that when they went to go do a welfare check on Melodee, it turned out that the mom wasn't providing any information about where Melodee was.
Somewhere along this route, police are hoping someone saw something.
A joint effort between law enforcement, the public, and the media, because those 3 pulled together is what really saves children.
It truly was a boots-on-the-ground investigation. So Brian headed to Green River, Utah, and I headed to Panguitch, hoping to learn more about the Buzzard stops in those areas. We are the oasis in the middle of nowhere.
Known as one of the only stops for miles, Green River is a frequent place for people to fill up and a place of interest to investigators. It's also just an hour away from the last confirmed sighting.
We have a confirmed sighting of Melodee and Ashlee on October 9th, which is going to be on the return trip. And that would have been on the Colorado side of the Colorado-Utah border.
That was the last time 9-year-old Melodee Buzzard was seen before taking an unusual route back to California, says Raquel Zick with the Santa Barbara County Sheriff's Office.
Through this whole process, we've been kind of honing down a timeline as well as a search area, which we now have down to 1 day and just these handful of states that we're trying to find where Melodee was.
How did you guys map that route out, or how do you know for sure that they were in these spots?
I can't go too deep into what the investigative methods that were used in this case, but what we were able to do is to figure out that the route out went as far as Nebraska, but that the return trip was a bit unusual in that it dipped down into Kansas.
Zick says the route they found passed right through Green River, Utah.
Missing person cases are not unusual, but this one is definitely not, it's not your run-of-the-mill missing person case.
Investigators are looking at stops along I-70, including here in Green River, to see if any video surveillance, like on the gas station behind me, captured anything in this case.
Over in Green River, an employee at this gas station says the FBI requested their surveillance video.
A lot of people definitely stop at the Loves because they've got 2 gas stations right there. Easy, just get in, get out, right back on the highway.
This case has residents here concerned.
It's just so crazy. It's scary, you know?
When I went to Panguitch, my first stop was the Bear Valley Country Store and gas station. The store owner informed me of 3 stops the FBI made, believing to be along the route of Melodee and her mother. The store owner said the FBI came by on October 25th. They told her they located Ashlee Buzzard's phone using the cell tower and believe she crossed the SR20 and US 89 intersection beside their store.
They wanted our video footage, which saves for 2 weeks. And unfortunately, we were 2 days past that, so we weren't able to find anything for them.
I then traveled 20 minutes north to Stan's Market in Circlesville, which also had no saved video footage. Notably, of that stop, there were no printed photos of Melodee or her mom. Did the FBI give you any photos to share with people?
No.
6 miles later, I stopped at Junction, a potential sighting. The store manager of the Junction pit stop and Phillips 66 gas station said an employee spotted Melodee's mom on October 9th around 5 p.m. When I called the employee, she said she was certain she saw the mother, Ashlee, after seeing her photo from the FBI agent, remembering her curly blonde wig.
It was really, really freaking weird because she just opened the door at the store and halfway poked her head in, and then said, "Did you guys know you have a whole bunch of kittens out here?"
Matthew said the woman then got in her car with a woman with purple hair. She'd guessed to be around 30.
I kind of walked towards the door going, "What the crap was that?" when they left and noticed that they had a California license plate.
She does not remember any transaction made as she was working in the back of the store. Overall, the store said not many people know about Melodee's disappearance.
It's a crazy situation and horrible, and the little girl should be found. And I mean, there's a lot of nature, a lot of woods around here. So it's like, if this is where she was the day before she got home, who knows, anything could happen.
While the Santa Barbara Sheriff's Department and FBI requested public assistance on their website, Melodee's family took matters into their own hands with volunteer private investigator Bill Garcia. I first met him in Panguitch, where he traveled to follow up on my findings in Junction.
She definitely came through here, and my job is to figure out why and where she may have gone.
Bill Garcia has solved hundreds of missing children cases for over 30 years.
There's a reason why she went off the main highway.
Today, Garcia went to the Junction pit stop where a worker told me she saw Ashlee on November 9th. He handed out more photos, which locals said they hadn't seen before. The witness had told me they believe they saw Ashlee with a woman with purple hair.
And talking with at least one store owner across the street, she says that's not the norm for anybody that lives in this area.
He said there's a small airport just a few hundred yards out of town and worries the woman could be someone picking up Melodee.
If it is an organized routine, could somebody have possibly came in a small unnoticed plane, swooped up the child and taken her wherever for whatever reason?
Now Garcia is heading about an hour north of Junction because Ashlee often shops at Walmart.
I'm going to go ahead and work up towards the top part of Highway 89 where it intersects with Interstate 70. There's a large Walmart facility there.
The Santa Barbara Sheriff's Department told me they received a steady stream of people coming forward with past sightings of Ashlee or Melodee, but are unable to share them without hurting the integrity of the investigation. Garcia pointed out that because of Ashlee's arrest for an unrelated crime, detectives have until Thursday for questioning or a mental health evaluation.
I'm hoping that actually will help her both get well and divulge where Melodee is and if she's okay.
On November 7th, Ashlee Buzzard was arrested for the false imprisonment of her old friend Tyler S. Brewer. Brewer told me that Ashlee locked her doors after discussing Melodee's potential whereabouts.
So it doesn't involve Melodee,
but it does relate to the case in a way that you can't share more information.
Correct.
Tonight, Ashlee Buzzard sits in jail. The Santa Barbara Sheriff's Department says Buzzard was preventing a victim from leaving a location against their will. I called Ashlee's mother. She asked not to be recorded, but said I could share that Ashlee is bipolar. She said, quote, I know my daughter needs to be in a hospital. And, quote, I know there's a lot more going on than anyone realizes. She said she's working with the FBI until her granddaughter is home. Today, I also learned more details about Ashlee's past. A Santa Maria Times newspaper article from 1995 reveals Ashlee lived hotel to hotel at the same age of Melodee, now 9 years old. The newspaper says Ashlee and her mom were running from Ashlee's father. The article says the father was, quote, physically, verbally, and emotionally abusive and struggled with substances. Ann Emerson from the Criminally Obsessed podcast said she sees parallels of crisis, escape, and hiding between mother and daughter.
We know from this article she has said that she has been under an enormous amount of stress as a 9-year-old. And now we know that 9-year-old Melodee, her daughter, is missing. There are parallels that cannot be coincidences.
Information about Ashlee's past continued to grow as neighbors began to speak out.
Every time Ashlee left the house, Melodee would be right there next to her, leaving the house with her.
Neighbor Casey Monreal tells Ann Emerson of Criminally Obsessed what she witnessed for 2.5 years.
She always had a hood on. It didn't matter if it was 90 degrees outside, you know. Then she would come back and she'd have the hood on and go straight into the house.
My friend was like, well, you know, she could play with my son. And she told my friend, well, she has autism. She doesn't do well with kids. So that was like a way of like her not interacting with people.
Since Melodee's disappearance in October, Ashlee was seen taking down yard signs about her daughter.
We made some signs even with like different colors with Melodee's picture on it, and we left them outside there. But those pictures she actually removed and took them into her house.
Private investigator Bill Garcia, hired by Melodee's family, says Ashlee tried to cancel her Gmail, bank account, and Amazon, which he feels may signal an attempt of hiding transaction history.
There's a possibility that Ashlee is a victim herself. You're a single parent and you have these kind of mental health issues. Things only get worse if you don't get help.
Ashlee will be arraigned tomorrow on charges unrelated to Melodee's disappearance. Detectives say she was arrested for false imprisonment of friend Tyler S. Brewer, who asked about Melodee at her home. I reached out to Brewer. He said he's provided all information to law enforcement and, quote, my only hope is that the FBI and police are able to use it to help bring Melodee home. The criminal complaint of the Santa Barbara District Attorney's Office says Buzzard violated Brewer by, quote, violence, menace, fraud, and deceit, and said the manner in which the crime was carried out indicates planning, sophistication, and professionalism. Monreal says she noticed Ashlee seemed scared during her arrest and the initial search warrant, but she's ready to hear answers.
We could see her in the backyard and she was sitting next to a shed crying. You feel bad, but then you're like, well, just come forward with the child, you know?
I felt like Melodee's not with us anymore. Like, because why would she go there with Melodee and then not come back with her? Like, it just didn't add up.
Every piece of evidence mattered during the search for Melodee, as little footage was published. Private investigator Jason Jensen used truck dash cam footage to find photos of the exact rental car Ashlee used. These photos were taken before and after Ashlee returned, not while she was using the car, but helped give a better picture for potential witnesses.
If you saw a car that's misplaced, like if you see a small two-door out in, hunting fields, well, that's a little weird. Or if you saw specifically the Malibu with California plates or even New York plates, typically that's going to stand out in rural Utah. Anyone in those areas between October 8th and 10th should look at either wildlife cameras or dash cam footage or surveillance footage anywhere and try and see if they can see the car or Melodee or Ashlee.
Around Thanksgiving, Lompoc resident Christiana Valerie began organizing search parties for Melodee. All 4 in the Santa Maria area were unsuccessful.
There was literally like 3 or 4 of us that were out there like every time that we did the search. And I mean, for me, it takes a whole village to search for for somebody, you know what I mean? 3 kids of my own. I adopted a kid. So I mean, we just want to find Melodee so we could have brought her home and she was safe.
As it approached 2 months since Melodee's disappearance, private investigator Bill Garcia dropped out of the case, saying that he tried every avenue but would keep out for new developments. I spoke with Melodee's half-sister, Corinna, who said she was still hopeful for Melodee and praying for her. Also at the 2-month mark, I spoke with former FBI agent Jennifer Coffindaffer on why we weren't hearing as many updates from authorities. She was hopeful on what this could mean.
Jennifer Coffindaffer was a special agent with the FBI for 25 years. Today, we spoke on the upcoming 2-month mark of the Buzzards road trip.
Is there a certain point where this case might be closed or marked as a cold case?
So the Melodee Buzzard case has really died down in the media, and I think a lot of people are concerned. It just seems like nothing's going on. When in fact, when I see that, I get excited because I know the FBI is actually hot and heavy on the case.
She said pleas for public help or cash rewards are often signs of not having more leads in a case.
That's when you're really just grasping at straws because you've run down all the information you have. That's not the case right here.
The Santa Barbara Sheriff's Department told me previously they don't share all information because they do not want to upset the investigation. Coffindaffer said they are likely still serving search warrants and looking at video recordings and credit card information.
I think they are right in the middle of that, have their teeth dug in, and they're finding information that's leading to the disposition of this case. I'm hopeful.
From her experience, Coffindaffer believes Melodee is likely somewhere close to California, as people often gravitate towards areas they are more familiar with. It is still unknown whether she is okay.
As the days rolled into weeks and weeks now into months, it becomes less and less likely that Melodee is alive. It's possible still, but the probabilities are going down every day she's missing.
Coffindaffer said as long as the FBI is still getting answers to questions, fruitful evidence, and witnesses coming forward, they likely will not reach out to the public.
We only close cases literally when there's absolutely not a breath left in that case. I would not look for this case to be closed at all until Melodee is found.
Although immediate identification of the deceased person was not possible, it was apparent that the decedent was a female who had died from gunshot wounds to the head.
Suddenly, news broke to all. 2 News received video of Ashlee Buzzard's arrest, and the Santa Barbara Sheriff's Department announced they had major updates on the case to share.
We have recovered a significant amount of evidence that clearly indicates that this heinous crime was committed by Ashlee Buzzard, Melodee's mother, and the very person upon who she relied upon and trusted the most in this world.
While family had been alerted of Melodee's death, they learned the details at the same time as friends, neighbors, and media in a heavy Santa Barbara room. Going into the meeting, Melodee's half-sister told me, quote, "We are all just devastated and heartbroken by the outcome," and quote, "I am in shock of everything."
Maternal filicide is rare and always difficult to comprehend. That this level of criminal activity is particularly shocking given the calculated, cold-blooded, and criminally sophisticated premeditation and heartlessness that went into planning it, and the ruthlessness that went into actually committing the crime.
The Sheriff's Department revealed previously unknown evidence, an expended cartridge case found in Ashlee's home, remains found in Utah, a match of the cartridge case at Ashlee's home to those in Utah, and the identification of Melodee's remains on December 22nd. This was a devastating outcome felt by many. Christiana Valerie from Lompoc weighed in on the community's response.
It's been crazy. There's been people driving past, leaving like flowers and leaving like stuffed animals outside. Some people just driving past and sitting there for, a few minutes. Yeah, there's been a lot of like traffic there for sure.
While the investigation update brought a lot of closure, there are still unanswered questions. Where is the murder weapon? And what was Ashlee's motive? KUTV's David Ochoa reports.
A more than 2-month search for 9-year-old Melodee Buzzard tragically comes to an end.
May God bless the innocent soul of Melodee Buzzard.
Melodee's body was found in Wayne County, shot multiple times in the head. Cartridge cases found in Utah matched one at her mother Ashlee's home, and Ashlee was arrested for murder.
As this bullet travels through the gun, the outer layer, it's called the casing, is going to get stripped out by the extractor, and that's going to get ejected out of the gun. And that's what was found by the investigators.
Carl Schmay is a retired supervisory special agent with the FBI, and he says ballistic evidence like this makes a strong case for probable cause.
Every casing can be matched to the firearm that it was fired from. It's like a ballistic fingerprint.
As the investigation continues, attention also turns to prosecution. And with multiple states involved, it could make things interesting.
It creates a massive discovery issue because there's so much discovery that's there because you're dealing with tons of different agencies.
Former prosecutor and current defense attorney Nathan Evershed says, at the end of the day, it comes down to evidence and whether prosecutors have enough. And what they currently don't have is a murder weapon. But Evershed says, in his experience, having the literal smoking gun is overrated.
Juries can be overwhelmingly satisfied with the rest of the evidence.
I spoke with Garcia on his reaction and the next steps. New exclusive video shows authorities searching Ashlee Buzzard's home hours after arrest.
They're looking for evidence. They're looking for things they may have missed.
While authorities found a match between ammunition at the scene and a spent cartridge case and live ammo at Ashlee's home, they still do not have the murder weapon used to shoot Melodee in the head. I spoke with private investigator Bill Garcia.
One of the main questions that's still unanswered is where's the murder weapon? What goes into searching for that?
Well, we've got a long area to search. My suspicion would be it wouldn't be all that far away, but with the amount of vegetation and streams and other elements like that, it's going to be difficult. It's almost all desert.
Garcia mentioned we still don't know the state of Melodee's health when she was shot and if it was head on or from behind.
The other thing is whose gun was it? She shouldn't have had a weapon. I'm sure she's prohibited from having a weapon.
He added there could have been someone else present, though investigators believe Ashlee was working alone.
My big concern is that with this current storm going through, it may actually get covered up with snow in that particular area, which means we wouldn't be able to even start looking for it until springtime.
While authorities look for answers for a long-running case, the community is devastated with the fresh news of Melodee's passing.
It's like there's this special light in those that are taken, and it hurts a little bit more because we don't know what their potential in life would be, and we're all left to wonder and carry on without them.
On December 26, Ashlee had her court arraignment in Santa Barbara County. She wore civilian clothes and had her first plea.
We're entering a not guilty plea.
Okay. Not guilty plea is entered. Special allegations are deemed denied.
The prosecution also announced
District Attorney is electing not to seek the death penalty in this case. However, we will seek the alternative punishment of life without the possibility of parole.
Her preliminary hearing is set for January 7th at 8:30 Pacific Standard Time. As everyone waits for answers after Ashlee's next court appearance, many now take a moment to remember and honor Melodee. Christiana Valerie and her sister run the For the Love of Melodee Facebook group with about 7,000 followers. The community is organizing an event on February 14th at Beatty Park in Lompoc to honor Melodee and show support to her family. Lori Miranda, Ashlee's mother, tells me that Melodee's paternal grandmother is organizing a memorial.
You're a mother, I'm a grandma. How can you do that to a baby? I can't talk no more.
Miranda shared she isn't ready to speak with media, but did share, quote, "I don't even know how to feel about talking to my daughter." This has been a heavy case to cover that has impacted so many people. We will continue to do our best to keep you updated and ensure that Melodee receives justice.
I want to take a moment to speak directly to the Meza and Buzzard families. who have endured unimaginable pain throughout this ordeal. Their strength, their patience, and their steadfast hope have been evident from the very beginning. No family should ever have to experience this kind of loss, and our hearts are with them today and will be with them in the difficult days ahead. We stand with them and we remain committed to securing justice for Melodee.